speed and take chances.
We've been going around the world trying to meet as many legitimate people as we can, and for us, the Laird was definitely top of the list. And I don't know much about their personal lives, but we know a little bit about surfing, and we've seen some pictures of this guy and what he does. And for us, it was like a real demonstration over conversation type of thing. So finally, we got to have a conversation with him today. He kind of took us through one of the workouts. If you want to talk a little bit about like what the purpose of that is, and what you did to us.
I mean, I think ultimately the purpose of this particular training we were doing today is to just have a better relationship with your breath and a better relationship with your mind. You know, kind of embrace the anxiety of the lack of air.
I'll grab that. You're saying your mind, your breath, and your anxiety. So I can for me, it was like a real mind, body, spirit connection in the whole workout, which is definitely a holistic approach to it, which was awesome for us.
Yeah, well, I think it's unorthodox too to whenever you're grabbing giant dumbbells and jumping into the deep end of a swimming pool, it seems kind of that doesn't seem normal. It's kind of like weights are over here and swimming's over there, and this is just a really interesting kind of uniting of two separate worlds that are real different. And
I know for me, because I have an issue with one of my knees, and so it's an opportunity to train really hard and not put more impact on my joints. And that's really a nice thing, is to be dynamic and explosive, and you're not really paying a punishing price, and then you're outside. And that's the other thing I think that we both really feel is important, is as many opportunities as you can to get outside.
be in the light.
Yeah,
in the light.
I think it's really good. So I think
I did my solar gazing this morning before I started.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
oh gosh,
Oh, yeah.
Laird has got a little semi-obsession right now with solar gazing.
You know, something about water, just we're made of water, being outside, and
Yep.
and it's just kind of there's something really harmonious about this training that, you know, I always say the proof's in the pudding. At the end, it's how you feel. I think training should be about how you feel, not how you look or how you think you look, and I think if we focus on how we feel from it, that'll tell you how great it is. And I know whenever I'm done with this, I feel content, and I feel like I've you know, there's no stone unturned. It's like I feel like I've touched every part of my body, and everything's had to participate, you know.
Because you literally picked up every stone and turned them. I like I really like the idea of the low impact, because if you were to try to do these same workouts without water, you wouldn't last.
Well, you'd be broken too.
Yeah,
you'd be
that's
broken.
right.
You'd be hurt.
Yeah, if you did 100 reps of jumps, you couldn't go again the next day.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, is longevity, right? We're trying to figure out ways that we can train hard for the duration of our life. One of Laird's best friends is 80 years old.
Wow.
And you know, on my best day, I could never even see the back of him on a mountain bike ride. You know, so this is a guy who.
It's awesome.
It's possible, you know.
Well, it's all about that. It's all about that sustaining, you know,
Yeah.
what kind of training can you do day in and day out that doesn't, it's only going to enhance your performances.
That's right.
And, you know, I mean, the great thing about the water is there's no gravity. So there's very few times on Earth that you can train and not be affected by gravity. And gravity is pretty, you know, hard on us. I mean, you see what it does to people over time. It just pulls us to the ground. So we're just, you know, we get drugged down by it. So to not have gravity, I think
Plus,
is
you
nice.
can do it with other people. So I think too that goes back to the camaraderie. If you can actually find things that you could do with at least one other person or a few people, then it's you know, it makes it a little more bearable on the days that you don't feel like doing it.
Well, it's nice to have people, you know, misery and company. I mean, it's like, you know, if you're suffering, you see them suffering, you're suffering, kind of like, hey, we're suffering together. It's not nearly as bad as if you're suffering all by yourself. It's lonely when you're suffering by yourself. If you're suffering with somebody else, you're like, oh yeah, is it bad? It's bad. Okay, it's bad. Okay, well, you know, and it's the accountability too. I think
That's
when you
right.
have somebody to share in your suffering, to share in the joy of how you feel, and then the accountability of, you know what, I don't really feel like it today, but they're going to show up in an hour, and I'm going to be ready, and you know, and that's you know, and it's all about. I think it's like eating. It's like anything. in life, it's the consistency. It's what you do day in and day out. Okay, yeah, you can go have a giant, huge birthday cake, but you're not doing that every day. You're not doing that every month, every year. You know, it's what you're doing all the time. And I've told Gabby from the beginning, I said, anything that you do to yourself on a daily basis, whether it's a towel or your sheets or the soap on your body or the food in your mouth, that should be where you spend your money. Like, that's where you should spend money, is on things that you're doing to yourself. Like, if you're going to drink coffee, make sure it's the best coffee. If you're going to have a glass of wine, make sure it's the best wine. If you're going to eat meat, make sure it's the best meat. It's like, you know, I mean, there's, instead of like having fancy cars and fancy watches and all this other stuff that really don't enhance your life.
Right.
You know, what you put in your mouth, that enhances your life. Your pillow enhances your life. Your sheets enhance your life.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, you wouldn't know. Laird is really very serious about his sheep.
I think I said to her, you know, about thread count one time, and she was in shock.
I think that's what
Cro-Magnon man with no shoes that talks about thread count.
I actually think that's one of the things I felt for you.
All right, here's a shout out to Daniel Morgan, the big guy. Big.
Now you've got two people crying, Daniel and our
Go
brother.
big on the lakes, Daniel.
And the take-home message.
Speed and take chances. That's what I tell all my friends.